In the financial world, the smallest details can make a big difference. Welcome back to the channel, Iron Consulting Firm, where we delve into these intricate facets, ensuring you always make the most of your money. Today, we're tackling savings account withdrawal limits and how you can sidestep those pesky additional fees. But before we continue, please subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Number 1. What are savings account withdrawal limits? Let's delve deeper into the concept of savings account withdrawal limits. These limits are essentially restrictions on the number of withdrawals or transfers you can make from your savings account within a specified time frame without facing penalties. Typically, this time frame is set on a monthly basis by most banks. It's important to recognize that these limitations aren't designed to inconvenience you. Rather, they are mandated by federal regulations to help banks maintain the necessary reserve levels. Understanding the rationale behind these limits is crucial. Banks must always have a certain amount of cash on hand, and unexpected surges in withdrawals can disrupt their reserve requirements. By imposing withdrawal limits, banks can adhere to regulatory guidelines while encouraging account holders to use their savings accounts for their intended purpose, saving money for future needs and financial goals. Number 2. Why do these limits exist? The existence of savings account withdrawal limits is rooted in the financial stability and regulations of the banking industry. Banks have these limits in place for several significant reasons. Firstly, banks are required to maintain a specific amount of cash on hand to meet their operational and financial obligations. When an excessive number of withdrawals occur unpredictably, it can jeopardize their ability to meet these cash reserve requirements. By instituting withdrawal limits, banks can ensure that they remain compliant with regulatory guidelines while managing their cash reserves effectively. Secondly, these limits serve as a gentle nudge to encourage account holders to use their savings accounts as intended, primarily for saving rather than daily transactional use. This approach not only aligns with the core purpose of these accounts, but also helps banks ensure financial stability. It's important to acknowledge that these limits are a symbiotic arrangement, benefiting both the account holder and the banking institution. Number 3. The impact of excessive withdrawals. Exceeding savings account withdrawal limits can have significant consequences for account holders. When you surpass these limits, the bank may impose penalties and fees for each excessive transaction. These fees can quickly add up and erode your hard-earned savings. In more severe cases, repeated violations of these limits can lead to more substantial actions taken by the bank. They might consider converting your savings account into a checking account, which typically doesn't have the same restrictions on withdrawals. In some instances, if the excessive withdrawals persist, the bank may even decide to close your savings account altogether. To avoid these potential pitfalls, it's essential to be aware of the withdrawal limits associated with your specific savings account and to manage your transactions wisely. By staying within these limits, you can make the most of your savings account while avoiding unnecessary fees and complications with your bank. Number 4. Tips to avoid extra fees. To ensure you make the most of your savings account while avoiding additional fees, consider these practical tips. Plan ahead. Anticipate your monthly expenses and limit the number of withdrawals accordingly. Having a budget or financial plan can help you avoid exceeding your withdrawal limits. ATM withdrawals. Many banks do not count ATM withdrawals towards the monthly limit. However, it's always a good practice to double-check with your specific bank to be certain. In-person withdrawals. Visiting your bank branch and making withdrawals in person can often bypass the limit, as these transactions are typically exempt from the restrictions. Set reminders. Utilize apps, calendar reminders, or online banking tools to help you keep track of your monthly withdrawals, ensuring you stay within the limit. By following these strategies, you can navigate the restrictions of savings account withdrawal limits more effectively, preserving your savings and avoiding unnecessary fees. Remember that a well-managed savings account is a valuable tool for achieving your financial goals. Number 5. Exceptions to withdrawal limits. It's crucial to understand that not all transactions count toward the monthly withdrawal limit. Recognizing these exceptions can help you manage your savings account more effectively. Transactions made in person at a bank branch or via an ATM are often exempt from these restrictions, as they involve face-to-face or machine-driven interactions. Additionally, transactions initiated by phone or mail are typically not counted towards the limit. By taking advantage of these exceptions, you can maintain greater flexibility in accessing your funds without incurring penalties. This knowledge empowers you to make informed decisions regarding the most convenient and cost-effective methods for managing your savings. Remember that while these exceptions provide options, it's still essential to use your savings account judiciously, reserving it primarily for your longer-term savings goals while considering alternative accounts for daily financial needs. Number 6. Planning for emergencies. Sometimes, unexpected things happen that require money right away. It's important to know how to handle these situations, especially when you have savings account withdrawal limits. If you think you might need your money more often, it's a good idea to have a checking account for everyday expenses and use your savings account for long-term saving goals. This way, you keep your savings safe and you won't face extra fees for exceeding your withdrawal limit. By planning for emergencies, you'll be ready for unexpected financial needs without causing any problems with your bank. So, think about what you might need your money for and have a strategy to make sure you have access to it when you need it most. Balancing both a savings and checking account can provide financial peace of mind. Number 7. Alternative savings options. If you find the withdrawal limits on a regular savings account too restrictive for your needs, there are other options to consider. Some of these alternatives can give you more flexibility with your money. High-yield savings accounts, for example, may have different rules. They often offer higher interest rates while allowing more frequent withdrawals compared to traditional savings accounts. However, keep in mind that they might have their own limitations and requirements, so it's essential to understand those terms. Another option is a money market account. These accounts can provide you with easy access to your savings while also earning you some interest. Certificates of deposit, CDs, are yet another choice. These offer higher interest rates than regular savings accounts, but they lock your money for a fixed period. So, think about your financial goals and the kind of access you need when choosing the best savings option for you. Let's wrap up our video, but before we move on, if you're finding this information useful, don't forget to click that like and subscribe button. Your support ensures we can continue bringing you valuable content like this. Write your thoughts in the comments. Should you need bookkeeping or payroll services, reach out to Irene Consulting Firm. We will be happy to assist you. Knowledge truly is power, especially when it comes to managing your finances. By understanding withdrawal limits and planning wisely, you can easily avoid unnecessary fees and ensure your savings remain untouched and growing. Remember, your savings account is more than just a place to stash cash. It's a tool to secure your financial future. Until next time, stay savvy with your savings.